Brought to you by the soda that I drink constantly, the soda Kyle drinks constantly. We tried to get Pringles a long time ago.
I'm gonna ask him again.
Yeah.
That's coming up. Like my annual, hey, we pretty much put your kids through college. Like the only reason that anyone knows what Squirt is anymore is solely because of me. You know.
We are the Illogical Universe podcast. Not to be confused with those two Mexican chicks.
You're still on about that, huh?
I still think about it.
It's like a month. It's a month removed. They probably don't even have any more videos.
I don't know. I haven't looked, but I still think about them.
Yeah, I'm sure that's weird. You really need to get over that. Like, I don't know how to help you with that.
I don't know. It's not like evil thoughts, but it's just like those bitches.
Yeah, you really you have some issues. I want you to be aware and understand that you have some issues, because the first step to recovery is in fact admitting that you have a problem.
We looked it up to see if the name was taken.
Well, they took it from us. I'm not arguing with you that they took it from us.
It's common courtesy.
My problem is that they are, like, Hispanic. Why wouldn't it be, like, in Spanish?
It is in Spanish.
No, it's not. It's a logical universe.
Oh, yeah, the name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why isn't a logical universe in Spanish?
Yeah.
Like, why would you title your like why would your thing be titled in English and then you don't speak English on the show?
But anyways, we got a bunch of shit to talk about, and I have a bunch of gifts for Kyle.
Yes, and before we get to any of that, if you guys want to donate to our show and help us get money so that we can do fun things like be able to film stuff and bring you cool things like a mobile app that I would have to pay for, you can do so at our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/illogicaluniverse. Just donate $1 a month. It helps us more than you can possibly imagine.
We have a future endeavor that we really, really want to do. We've talked about it in the past, but we need help.
Yeah, a lot.
We call it, even if it's not monetarily that you can help us. If you live in the area and you have a video camera, we could borrow.
Yeah, or if you just share our posts from our Facebook, facebook.com/illogicaluniverse, or our Twitter @illogicalunity, that helps us too. We also moved to a new hosting site, which I'm going to be constantly reminding people about, which is Spreaker.com. That's speaker, but with an R in it. So Spreaker.com/illogicaluniverse. That'll have all of the previous episodes. We're still on iTunes. None of that's changed.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be there from now on. It's actually a lot better of a page. It works better on your mobile. It's easier to follow us and share all of our stuff. And so we hope you guys will join us over there.
Yeah, but we call it about that project. We have it settled that we're going to have we're going to have our largest people in the room.
Yeah, we're
literally and
off the top of my head, it's going to be 7, including us and our guests for that.
So, and we would like to be able to video broadcast for you guys.
I'm pretty sure it'll at least be 5.
Yeah.
We're kicking around a couple of ideas, which we'll talk about maybe a little bit more in detail a little later once we get a few more confirmations on what's going on with it. But be on the lookout for that stuff, because that's going to be really cool. That's good. That's something that me and Jim have wanted to do since before we started this podcast.
For a long
That's a good
time.
decade-long conversation that we're going to bring to you guys.
We have forgotten more ideas than most things I've seen on television.
Yeah, no, and this one is something that you and I have talked about since high school. So
yeah,
well, actually, probably before that, right? That's probably middle school.
But we still we call it. They come back to us like we call it. I mean.
It's a good one.
We eventually need to get in touch with Richard Cheese. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Dick Cheese.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I saw a new kind of tattoo.
A henna tattoo?
No. We call it, this is directed towards you. I want to know if it's possible. We call it, what they do is they record the person saying something, and then they tattoo the sound waves. Like what you see there on the computer?
Yes.
They tattoo that, and then you can take a phone and video and play the thing.
It is possible, yeah.
And it'll sound exactly the same?
Not exactly the same. Like it's not perfect, but it's possible. The thing about it is that it would have to be a waveform that's unique to a specific program. So it would have to be a waveform generated by Pro Tools or something. And then you could take a picture on the app. It would put it into a Pro Tools project. It would measure the peaks and valleys of it, and it would come up with a monetary value that corresponds to a tone.
So it wouldn't need bars or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
all the bars are for is so that we can see waveforms clearer, and you can see where they are in relation to like the peaks and the valleys. It allows you to see like what's 0, what's below it, and what's above it. And now Jim is just spraying postgraduate condiment spice all over my table.
I didn't get any on Shit King though.
I'm fucking happy. Clean it up. Clean it up now, bitch. Are you serious, you fucking cocksock?
I don't have anything to do it with.
Just get behind you. There's crap shit. Wait, what is that? You know what? No, there's napkin.
You don't need this.
There's paper towels in there.
I'm a painter.
There's paper. Fine, do that. Then use that. That's fine.
Fucking getting shit from painters when I am a painter.
I fucking hate you, though. Look what you did. First off, I don't even know who that painter is.
Yeah.
All right, they're not on my phone. Okay, you can check my Snapchat. You can check my browser history. I don't look up painters behind your back.
I found something.
I'm actually pretty pissed off we're having this conversation because you, as my friend, that should be enough. I should get the benefit of the doubt here. Okay, I'm getting tired of being treated like
but you're
like
getting
a cheater,
postcards from other
like
painters.
It's not first off, it's a full-fledged letter. They hand wrote my name on that shit. If I was gonna cheat on you with another painter, that's the guy. Okay, because he took the time, which you don't have. Where's the time, Jim?
I gave you color wheels.
No, you gave me color swatches. It's not a wheel. It's a booklet. And I use it to prop open my window, so it actually has been helpful.
And that feels insulting. It genuinely does.
There's no way that feels insulting.
I'm dead serious.
Whatever.
Fuck
your feelings.
Yeah.
You spilled on my table.
Yeah.
Fuck your feelings. Why is that insulting?
Because I was really hoping to help you out with painting a new place.
I rent this place.
Yeah.
They will fucking pay for it and paint it.
Yeah. It really needs to be painted.
I don't even know if we're going to be here through June, so we'll see.
Anyways, moving on. I have a large sack of gifts. I didn't pay for these, so... and they're completely random.
Okay, first off, if you didn't pay for them, like...
My brother went to C2E2, and he bought the mystery box.
Lame.
And it had a bunch of shit in it that he did not want.
C2E2 is lame.
And there's one thing in particular I know you'll want. This one, are you familiar with...
Just do it.
Are you familiar with Blake Bortles?
Yes.
Who's he?
Blake Bortles is a football player.
Yes. And there you go. I did not know they made pop figures.
That's really for like subpar football players.
All right,
he's not even like amazingly good. They he's like one of those. He could be good someday.
No.
And I'm like, not on the Jaguars. He can't.
What are the chances of you owning an iPhone 4 or 4S?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
No.
Well, here's a phone case for it.
Oh God,
it's a cat bug.
I'm giving that to Sam.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, that's my new phone. iPhone 4.
Yeah.
What are they on now?
6 or 7.
What the fuck is C2E2 doing?
I don't know, but I'm gonna probably get more of this shit tonight.
See why I say C2E2 is lame? Like, here's a phone case for for something from the 1980s.
Yeah, and we talked about these. There you go. There's your.
Give me that.
That's your hubcap or your wheel.
Well, now I have to get a manual drive car.
You don't have to.
Yes, I do.
No, you'll just have the extra pedal.
This is amazing.
Yes.
Is this gonna fit? This will fit, won't it?
Yeah. I don't know about the shifter knob.
The shifter knob probably won't. Damn it! That's the best part.
Did you see Tomorrowland?
No, but I've been there.
You've been there.
It's a park in Disney.
I wasn't aware. Well,
Yeah.
It's also a movie, and that's George Clooney's character as a pop figure. You said you saw one.
I did. How many of these fucking? Is this all
There are
C2E2?
3.
Jesus Christ! Who is Dale Dobick?
From Step
Yeah,
Brothers.
I know.
Yeah.
It took me a second. It took me a second.
All right, hold on. Why
Is this all C2E2 is pop figures?
Oh.
Also, what's on the top of the Dobick? What happened?
I don't. There's water or something in here.
Did your brother come on it?
No. All right. Well, I want to hold off on this one.
Did my cat pee on it? No, that's not pee.
No, it's not urine.
Because that's totally possible. She knocked down one of our Jim's mic.
I have to hold off on the one that might make you gay.
Oh yeah, so apparently the last gift he's going to get me, according to Jim when we were in the Jeep driving over here, is going to make me go, "Oh!" And I'm like, "It's going to turn me gay for a second." He's like, "It might," and I'm like, "Oh."
I forget why, but that's not from C2E2. But I think you said you needed one of those.
Oh, what is this? A lanyard?
Yeah.
All right, I can always use these.
It took me a second to realize what this is. We'll fucking. I'll post a picture of all this shit. We call it.
It's all wet.
Yeah, I don't know why, but there you go.
What is this?
You can get a key made with a fat chick on it.
Oh,
It took me a long time to realize what that was.
it's really weird. It's a bikini. I thought it was pasties, but it said she's so fat that like the string is so taut you can barely see it. That's amazing.
Some shit. Some trading cards from Disney's Camp Rock.
What the fuck is Bravest World?
I'm not familiar.
Trading cards, Camp Rock. Probably fucking worthless now because they're all fucking what?
They're in the package. There you go.
Let's not hit the mixer.
Finger puppet of
Finger puppet that's going on for the
the
rest of the...
Milano, I think is what they called the ship in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I can only fit this on my pinky.
Yeah, I can't. I did the same.
This is a pinky figure.
Let's see here.
Taking this to school tomorrow.
You have one of 30 because apparently there's 3 different Optimus Primes. You got Sentinel Prime, I think it was.
Oh, I love these.
Yeah.
This is actually this is cool.
And here's his little trading card.
Get over here, trading card. Are you like an amiibo or whatever?
I don't
You can
know.
give me power. Holy shit, dude, he's super powered.
Yeah.
Why is his courage low?
He betrayed them.
Sentinel Prime?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
But his courage isn't low.
He
What's more courageous, being a member of a team and always being happy and having backup, or going into the motherfucking lion's den, earning people's trust and then just straight up stabbing them in the back? Everything should be more courageous for this.
Hold on, I gotta clean the next one because there's something.
This really does not. This system doesn't make much sense to me.
All right.
Strength, intelligence, speed, endurance. Got it. Rank, courage, fire blast, and skill. So fire blast isn't a skill. I don't know what it is, but his is fully powered up. I'm assuming it's diarrhea for robots.
All right, I'm gonna try and hand this to you in a way that you can't see it very well.
Oh, is this the? I'm gonna be.
This
gay?
is the one. Yes.
Do you want me to close my eyes?
Yeah,
Do
that'll
you want
work.
to present it to me
Here,
on one knee?
Put your hand out and then close your eyes.
All right, my eyes are closed.
All right, reaching.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Wait, how do I turn this over?
Turn it over, and then put it on
seems
the
like
table.
it's 2 distinct pieces. I'm not looking at it.
It's supposed to be one, but
apart?
it came together apart,
Okay, weird.
which doesn't make any fucking sense. You almost. I see.
I'm not gay.
It's brewing.
That was manly, but fucking damn it. I will say this. This is there. The only reason. Okay, so it is a Big Trouble in Little China Jack Burton.
I really wish it was
figure.
sealed.
And it's fucking. It doesn't matter. It's amazing.
Yeah.
This is one of those I would take it out of the package because it's going to go in every pocket of every shirt that I have. with
Yeah.
me. People are going to be like you and I are going to get taken hostage at some point. They're going to be like, "Why do you have a Jack Burton action figure with you?" And I'm going to be, well, first off, Mr. Hostage Taker, I'm super impressed that you know it's a Jack Burton action figure, which means you and I could be great friends after this. Secondly, because fuck you. It's amazing. This is great. The only way, but I'm not gay for it. I would have been gay for this if you got me the actual, the tank top. If you got me his tank top from it, yeah, no, it's straight. That'd have been. Oh,
But see, the whole Dale Doback one, he's holding drumsticks.
he is. That's actually, you know what's funny? That's kind of how I was like, why is he? I'm like, oh, it's probably Step Brothers.
I'd say you're not a fan of that, are you?
I don't. No, I like the end.
Yeah.
Though when the psychiatrist has the flat and she's like, lumberjack,
Yeah.
and he's like, I've come to give you my seed. I'm like, okay, that was really funny. That and the part where he's in the hole and he's burying him.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what are mom and dad going to say? They'll never know you're gone. Like that whole thing. So Jack is with me forever. Why is he not looking straight?
Yeah.
Look, he looks like there's like a weird guy standing next to him. And
You
he,
have
like,
to give
doesn't
it
wanna
though.
look at
That
him.
head is pretty realistic.
Oh, no, it's great.
Yeah. And I had
he
to,
actually sort of looks like a mixture between Jack Burton and Peter Venkman's character from the real Ghostbusters.
I had to tape the gun into the packaging because I was worried I was going to lose it.
Of what?
It's right there in the packaging.
There's a gun?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that. There is a gun. Oh, it's the submachine gun from the second act. This is amazing. Bastards must
From
pay.
the second act.
It's from the second act.
I think third, sir.
It's from the second one when they're in the building. That's the second act. The third act, okay, is towards the end of that. Because it's when he has this gun when he saves the other girls.
Yeah, I would say second act is when they get
With the wheelchair, when he's going to fall down the hole.
I would say the second act is when they're in the alley and the fight breaks out.
That's the first act. That's 100% the first act. That's in the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Well, what defines an act of a movie?
The second act, okay, so the first act is when all the characters and everything is introduced as well as the conflict. Usually the second act consists of the rising action, which is leading towards the climax. Usually the climax and the conclusion is in the third act. Yeah, suck a dick. Didn't think I'd have that fucking down. No, I've just been a writer for how many years? No, I don't fucking know how a story works, you bald son of a bitch. Thank you so much.
I'm natural.
Thank you so much for this, by the way. You're my best friend.
Would it be considered I'm artificially bald?
No, you just have a buzz cut.
Yeah.
You know what's really fucked up about this? Just to let you know, I was going to put this in his right hand, but he's left-handed in the movie, so I had to put it in his left hand.
God, I have such a fucking headache. We call it... the other one I got was some badass posters, the mini posters, the 10x8s, or 11x8s of One Punch Man.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
That's neat.
I'm
assuming that's all over C2E2 though. So.
And it's the gay prisoner.
Yeah.
When he transforms, he gets naked and he has the wings. We call it. It's him doing the fury punches. Oh, it's a great one.
So if you guys can't tell, I'm not a big C2E2 person.
I went last year.
I just don't. It's never impressed me.
Or was it the year before?
It just doesn't. It's just not my thing.
I went just to go. I mean, most things I go to the first time, it's literally just to go.
I would go if there were panels that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
If there's no panels that I want to see, or the funny thing is that for me, usually the first 2 days have the people I want to see because it's like the independent guys, like the people from Dark Horse. It's not like DC and Marvel or LucasArts or any, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't like mainstream stuff or whatever. It's just you can see them a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't need to pay for C2E2 to see them.
Like when I went, I did not realize the second floor was open, and they had a Hunter X Hunter panel.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
Yeah, we call it, and I fucking love that show. I literally just rewatched it again. Which, by the way,
I have a gift for you. I'm sorry, I just realized this. I don't know if you've seen these. I will have to send some of these to you.
Okay.
There are people who are making crossover comics of 2 shows, one of which I know you'll be ecstatic about.
Some animes already do that.
No, it's not anime.
Huh.
It's a crossover comics of Rick and Morty and Gravity Falls.
Oh, wow,
and
really?
what it is it's that, at least the ones that I've seen.
And these are fan-made?
I think so. It's Rick is trying to get back to his time, or he's doing something, and it's Grunkle Stan's brother trapped in time trying to get back.
Oh.
So it's Rick and Grunkle Stan's twin interacting, and it's awesome.
Stanford.
That's right. It is. Yeah, it's Stanford, and I always say Grunkle Stan because. But
Well,
the
no,
real Stanford.
Well, no, it's Stanley and Stanford.
I know, but he was saying he was Stanford Pines, wasn't he?
That was him.
I know, but I'm saying that
pretending to be
Grunkle
his
Stan
brother.
was saying that he was Stanford, right?
Yeah, the brother is Stanford.
So the real Stanford Pines was trapped in time.
Yeah.
And Stanley was guarding his exit.
Yeah. All right, moving on after all this stuff.
Oh, and also X-Files is coming back for 10 episodes, so I'm super excited.
I still need to watch.
I'm going to go back and watch all of it. So if you need a refresher, come over and watch X-Files with us.
No.
Everyone, just pile over. We'll all watch X-Files together. But no one's eating my popcorn. Bring your own shit. Okay, no, I'll give somebody. A couple of you can have some popcorn. Not you. Or you. Anyway, what?
We call it... I'm trying to think. There was a discussion I heard the other day that I thought was really cool.
What if I put him... I'm sorry, I'm playing with my toys.
Yeah. It was in the 80s, you had... The government was always the villain, right? Yeah. The Milano fits on Jack's head. Oh, he got it stuck.
No, I didn't. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Fixed it. It's all good. Ooh, never doing that again.
We call it, but yeah, they were they're always the villain, right?
Yes.
Real Geniuses, fucking there's blah blah blah, bunch of movies. We call it. Then in the '90s and stuff like that, you started getting patriotism back.
A little bit.
Yeah. Was there a transition in the 2000s before we got to now where the government is semi the good guy, but there's the realization that with good comes bad?
Like what do you mean?
Like nowadays you have it, I was like, I realize I'm doing the wrong thing, but I'm doing it for the right reasons. For America.
I mean, The Rock is like that,
Yeah.
right?
God damn, this headache.
Well, at least Ed, not Ed Norton, Ed Harris's character,
Yeah.
where he's literally just trying to get recognition or benefit or whatever.
He's
money
doing it-
for the families. Of
He's
these
doing
people
it
who
for the
died.
individuals instead of
But
the masses.
the people betray him.
Yeah.
Are not that. I would also say Enemy of the State.
God, I'm sorry. I got to take a minute. I my head is pounding.
Is it?
Yeah, go and talk. I got to. Is your aspirin still up on the fridge?
Yeah, it's up there.
All right, I'll be right back.
So Enemy of the State is like that because in Enemy of the State, they accuse Will Smith, right? Yeah, they accuse Will Smith, and then the bad guys who are the perpetrators of everything are trying to use it like it's a training exercise because that's like what Seth Green and Jack Black think it is. And when everybody realizes at the end that it's not, they do the right thing, right? And they turn in the bad guys and they help Smith.
Yeah.
And who plays the old man? Is it Duvall?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It's been a long time since.
He's the one that goes, because you made a phone call when they blow up the building. But is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about people doing bad things for good reasons?
I'm
Like,
not discussing that. I'm discussing. One moment.
Because I would also say maybe Tears of the Sun or Tears of the Sun with Bruce Willis.
I bought that for my mother. I still haven't seen it.
Essentially, they go in to rescue these people, but they find out that they were only supposed to rescue this one doctor, and there's like a bunch of innocent people. Mm-hmm. So they basically kind of go, yeah, fuck that, and they take everybody. And they get everybody out, but sacrifice their own.
Well, they did that in the Losers. They did that in the Losers as well.
Yeah, it's kind of that. But
they're supposed to kill.
But Tears of the Sun is more.
Yeah.
Is based on a real thing. Actually, it's based on a true story. Firstly,
well, see, what I'm talking about is not that. I'm talking about in the 90s or late 80s, the government was bad across the board for most.
Oh yeah, all the G-men were always bad. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part, I imagine there was one or two in there where they were the government was the good guy.
The cat sees a squirrel. Anyway,
then you had a transition in the 90s where patriotism came back.
A little bit.
We call it. I don't think it's been back like it has, in previous years, previous decades. But and then you have 2000s, which I'm curious if it went bad again, where the government is bad, not an individual of the government, the government. Because they were.
I tend to believe
that's what they were talking about. Ghostbusters. It is the perfect thing, the perfect representation of we call it what the Tea Party believes. The government trying to keep down small businesses.
I mean, I tend to believe that even in movies where the government doesn't seem bad, it usually plays an antagonist role because of what the government is. I mean, even in movies where they're not directly the bad guys, they are. Like, for example, Batman. Okay, I'm going to bring Batman into it. So if you look at, like, the police of Gotham, they're like the military of that city, right? I mean, can we like agree that like police are kind of like the military of a city? So they're trying to shut down Batman because they're supposed to, because technically he's breaking the law, but he is helping fight this dangerous crime, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, they are an antagonist because they will arrest him, but they don't try really hard to do it. So does that make them a villain or a neutral party, or does it make them an anti-hero? Because I always feel like the government would always be sort of an anti-hero, where they would be like, we're against you, and we're gonna tell everyone we're against you, but we're gonna give you a 15-minute head start, kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they do that all the time.
That was the whole thing with Ghostbusters. We call it. It's the realization of the Ghostbusters are the heroes. But that's taking place in the movie universe where we're just enjoying a movie. If we were actual citizens of that New York, yeah, we want the FDA or whatever it was to EPA to come in and like check their facilities, and it's completely understandable.
But that's a city government, not a government
yeah.
government.
But I'm just saying as example. We call it what was the other one? Oh yeah, X-Men. We as moviegoers were hoping for the X-Men to win. They're the heroes. Blah blah blah. We call it. We as human beings are fucking terrified of everything. Suddenly, some of us have powers, and they're, you little bitch.
What'd she do?
She bit my foot.
Yep.
We call it, but the whole thing about it is like, yeah, we'd like to think, yeah, we'd be fine with mutants and stuff because we're all, we don't care about race, we don't care about economic.
Well, it's because whenever you're fantasizing about the X-Men, you're a mutant, right?
That's generally where people go. We call it, but that's the whole thing is like, say, we are the last generation of full humans. We call it the next generation where these stories are supposedly taking place in the movies, slightly in the future. We call it the mutants start happening. We call it, we would want, the fucking, sign over who has what powers and stuff like that,
Well, yeah, because we would treat it probably like weapons.
No. God damn my head.
But that's the whole thing about it, is that,
sorry,
that's the problem with that. The X-Men argument is that the government is bad in the X-Men comics.
Yeah, that's what we're to believe.
But that's what I'm saying is, but the X-Men comics, they're always bad. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like they're always an antagonist. Like they're pretty much credited for creating Magneto. Mm-hmm. They're all, you know what I mean? Like it's not that's not like an isolated movie or an isolated film. That's like an adaptation of something where the government was already shitty. Mm-hmm. So it's hard with comic book movies and stuff. I was giving an example with Batman of how they would be like an anti-hero or how they kind of always are an antagonist. Because it always seems to me that in films of any kind, they do the thing where it's like the government's bad, but this one person in the government isn't bad, and they help.
All right, look at the A-Team.
Yes.
Government is bad.
Yes.
MASH.
Well, wait, is the A-Team is the government bad in the A-Team?
Yeah, they're out to get them.
Yeah, but they're out to get them because they literally are murdering people for hire.
Yeah, who cares?
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I mean, like...
But they're still the bad guys.
Because I've seen plenty of A-Team ones where they let him get away. Where the government's like,
But we're still going to have to come after you.
Yeah, but they let him go. That's what I'm talking about. Like, how good do you want the government to be? Like, do you want the president to come up and be like, good plan? You know what I mean? Good job, face. That's not how that would be. You have to, even if you agree with something as the government.
Big picture.
Well, but even if you agree with something as the government, you still have to kind of act like you don't, right?
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to uphold the law, and justice is blind. So if they're breaking the law, no matter if they're doing good, you have to bring them in. But what you do is you kind of, it's like a wink and a nudge, and it's like, hurry, run to, it'll take us 2 weeks to get here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you do.
We're going to search here. You can be anywhere else.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to me, what we're talking about goes back to Robin Hood Men in Tights with the blessings, where it's like, oh, this is blessing wine. We can't drink this. He's like, hey, there's rocks, there's trees. You know what I mean? Like that's like
loophole.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that the government has to operate in loopholes.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to be a straight up protagonist unless you're doing like some. Because, I mean, like, even in war movies, it's not about the government being heroic. It's about, like, individual soldiers being heroic.
Yeah, I mean, look at... no, that's a bad example. I was going to say Lord of War, but that's definitely a bad example.
That's not, no.
Yeah.
No, I would think something like Saving Private Ryan, where it's like this glory. It's like, we're going to, we got to get this guy because everyone matters. That is not the government's stance on soldiers, okay? That's that particular unit's
Well,
thing.
I mean, look at MASH. If you look at military as the government of the war, they're just talking about it, like ripping on it constantly, as if they are like they're the bad guys.
Yes,
which most people looking back kind of agree.
Yeah, well, it's also that art and acting and films and all that kind of thing have traditionally been against, like anything the government does.
Yeah,
and so it's kind of like. I think it would be really, really difficult to make a movie celebrating the Iraq War. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, be like, look at all the good we're doing by bombing these people. You know,
Jarhead?
Jarhead's not really glorifying it. Yeah, think about it.
No.
The closest that I can get
Black
to it
Hawk Down.
The closest I can get to it, because literally the last shots of that movie are just planes full of corpses.
Hair.
I was thinking the closest I could get to it is Hurt Locker.
Still haven't seen it.
But it's
no
good.
interest.
It is good. No, it's good. It's worth a watch. But
we call it, for those of you who haven't seen Hair is worth a watch.
Stripes. No.
Mid 70s?
Yeah.
We call it.
I'm going with Stripes.
It's about hippies who burn their draft cards and chaos ensues.
My favorite thing in the entirety of the universe is Stripes because I would use Stripes as a recruitment tool. I'd be like, this is what it's really like. This is what you really do in the military right here.
You get the old man who hates you, but you befriend him in the end.
Yeah. You get the guy that says stupid shit like they call me the cruiser because I like fast cars and fast women. And then you get my favorite John Candy like, should have called you the dork. They call me the cruiser. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. We call it moving on though. I picked up issues 2 and 3 of Fool Killer.
I'm gonna be nice to Jim real quick, and this episode might be short because he looks like he's dying.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm fighting for it.
All right.
But
you just tap out when you need to.
I'm tapping the back of my head in hopes. We call it maybe the back of my head will explode.
Cool.
Yeah.
See, now we need to be filming it.
Yeah. We call it. But yeah. I'm quite excited. I'm halfway through, literally at the Staples. We call it, and they've introduced the character what was it? Shit King. Or whatever it was. It's something along that line. Essentially, he got his powers because he's talking about, you know how, you have giant monsters and they always show them on TV eating cars and people and blah, 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 blah. Well, Fing Fang Foom took a shit in public and shit on him and his family while they were having a barbecue. So I am genuinely excited to keep reading this issue.
I was about to say Shit King. It's almost as good as the Golgotha.
Yeah.
Which is in Justice League Dark again.
Yeah.
I love it. I love all of the things that have to do with that. So do you want to just do our comic book things?
Might as well. Isn't there another comic book movie that's coming out really? Oh, yeah. That fucking Bullet movie we were going to see is out.
Bullet movie?
You remember this? It's based in the 70s and they're like in the warehouse and it's a comedy action movie.
They're in the warehouse. Bullet. Is that the one that looked like Nice Guys? No, that was the Bodyguard one.
It was kind of similar. It had Armie Hammer in it. Or Arnie Hammer. We call it...
the Bullet movie. Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
I believe that is out.
Okay, so we have things to see. And I'm off of school next week, so...
Yeah, so we can go see that movie.
Yeah. But, so for today's entry, this week's entry into the world of picking comics that we normally wouldn't buy for each other, Jim made me get... Booster Gold meets the Flintstones.
Which
because I'm
Booster
pretty
Gold...
I'm pretty fucking sure that everything I read is going to be a crossover because Jim hates crossovers.
Yeah, but Booster Gold is awesome. I gave you that. And Flintstones, they're the fucking Flintstones.
Also, they made Fred ripped. Look at even on the cover. Look at him.
Nice,
right? He's good. He's like this is young Fred. This is before the years of working in the quarry got to him, and they invented beer. So all he's eating is protein and working every day. But like, it's actually funny. It was actually really good. I want to read I kind of want to read more of these. Like, so my favorite part in it is that the story revolves around fucking time travel. But the point is that an alien race invades Gotham because Buster Gold is in Gotham in the future. And an alien race starts to invade. So to stop them from invading, he goes back in time, obviously, to meet the Flintstones, to the point in time where the aliens first ever landed on Earth so that he can take care of them in the past, thus, making it so they don't invade in the future. Well, he comes in too hot and basically time warps in like directly on this little reptilian guy who's like 3 feet tall, looking like salamander thing, and cuts him in half with his ship when he bursts in. And the funny part is that he was preaching like a message of peace and tranquility and love, and he cuts him in half in front of Barney and and all of the Flintstones people who now hate him because they were super like, hey, this sounds great. So he's then stuck there and he has to fix his shit, get back. So when he gets back,
I really don't want to kick that cat, but I might kick that cat.
Well, don't.
She keeps biting my fucking foot.
Then deal with it.
I'm not saying it's going to be intentional. It's going to be a reaction.
Well, then just shoo her away when she comes over by you. But so he goes back like to the future after he fixes his thing and ends up transporting Barney and Fred and Wilma with him for some reason, which they don't really explain. But they get back to the future, and then they're about to be, and he finds out that the reason that they want to invade is because he went back in time and cut their leader in half. Mm-hmm. Because this is how all time travel shit works, which is why I fucking hate it. But anyway, the best part in the entire thing is they're bearing down on his ship menacingly, and he finds the top half of the guy that he cut off in the back of his ship. Because like when he cut him in half, it rolled like over the front part and into the back. So he picks it up and he ducks down behind his ship and he puts it on his arm and he starts talking to him like a puppet, going like, "I'm not actually dead. You guys can go home." And they buy it, and then it like slips off of his hands, and they're like, "Well, that's just fucking rude. You need to die now."
I have to interrupt.
No.
The funniest thing about that is not you pantomiming it. The pantomiming while you still have the Milano on your pinky.
This is not leaving me. This is going to school with me tomorrow.
Was it May 6th that comes out or some crap?
What?
Guardians 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's like May 6th.
I am trying to maintain my composure as I talk about it.
Yeah, Jim's creaming his pants right now. He's like, "Oh, Groot. Oh, raccoon guy. Oh, green chick. Oh, Batista. Oh, Chris Pratt."
Yeah,
Right?
I'm trying to think.
Chris Pratt.
That's Zoe. Fuck, I can't remember. The chick from chick who plays Gamora is the same chick from Losers, which originally she was like the bargain bin version of not Rashida Jones, the chick from Clerks.
Okay.
I was having.
I know who she is. I don't know her name.
I'm trying to think, but I was trying I was having this discussion with somebody, and like I was just talking to. He's like, "Yeah, I can agree with that." Yeah, because like they had their careers at the same time, but the chick from Clerks like started like bigger, we call it, and then you had like it seemed like they're the same kind of roles.
Yeah,
but we call it.
Well, now one of them's Gamora, and I don't know what the Clerks chick is doing lately. Exactly, one of them's Gamora.
She was in Sin City. Both of them, I believe.
Ooh, so she hit a home run with one, and then took a step back.
She was the leader of the hooker town.
Is that the chick from Clerks or Clerks 2?
No, that's a chick from Clerks 2. That's
okay.
my apologies.
I was about to say the chick. I was thinking of the chick from Clerks.
No,
like,
completely
she's
different.
in Sin City.
No,
she just like a random hooker because.
No,
yes, the chick from Clerks 2 is the leader of the hookers.
Yeah,
the leader of the hookers. She's not a pimp. She's just the leader of the hookers.
She's the mayor of Hooker Town.
Yes, she is the dictator of North Hookeria. All right.
They said it was in the South.
Okay.
I think
South Viet Korea or Viet Korea.
I mean,
she's the leader of hookers.
When they showed Clive Owen driving, it looked like he was driving north.
I can't. I have no.
Yeah.
Even fucking.
Free Fire. That's the name of the movie.
That's good. Thank you. I have nothing to say to you.
Apparently, Army. It is Army.
I told you it was Army Hammer.
I thought it was Arnie.
No, because I always made fun of him because of the doing the Lone Ranger.
Apparently, he sold Playboys and lotion in middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sold Playboys and lotion in middle school. Your name is still fucking stupid. I don't give a shit.
You still talk about like you love his name though.
I do love his name, but it's fucking stupid. It's what I love Doom, the movie. Okay, like we should not be coming to me like when we had Matt on the show. Every time I said a movie was great, he looked at me with disgust.
Yes, I know.
Like straight up, just hate, like burning, like fuck you.
Yeah.
Because like I'm the reason that movies would be like if I was in charge of Hollywood, you would never see a good movie again. You wouldn't.
They'd be good in their own right.
They would be great. They would be like They would be like Troma's entire lineup.
Yeah.
Except it wouldn't just be like weird, like Toxic.
Oh,
Avenger
Troma would
stuff.
be a billionaire.
Yeah,
right?
it would just be these weird like people would come into me and go. So I have this idea about a cyber dog who's a chef, but he's also a time traveling wizard robot, and I'd be like, well, he's already a cyber dog. What do you mean? He's like, yeah, but see, a cyber dog, he's half like regular dog, but when he goes like into time travel, he becomes like fully robot. I'm like. Make it. Give me 4 of them. Okay, give me an origin story and then a trilogy, like a long story.
But do you want the trilogy first, or
No. What we'll do is we'll put the first 2 movies of the trilogy out, then we'll do the origin, and then we'll conclude the trilogy.
but you don't
Just
expose
piss people off as
but
much
you-
as possible.
But you don't expose the fact that he's a cyborg until 30 minutes before the end of the second movie.
It's like, how much of this do you already have written? I have 20 pages. We can stretch that into like 6 movies. It'll be fine. Give me 25, and we'll do an entire 9. We'll do a trilogy of trilogies. Okay, like, we'll Star Wars this bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had this disgusted discussion. I ran into someone watching the Rogue One movie for a second time, and I did not expect my response, but like with anger, I was like, "Why are you watching this? I know you've seen it once."
Did you Drufkey him? Like, how the fuck do you like that movie, Kyle?
No,
'cause it entertains me. Fuck you, Kyle.
It's it's a good movie. And we have plenty of movies that we know are good movies in their and not in their own right.
Regardless of what Matt thinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but genuinely good movies. Like Lucky Number 11, we agree is a genuinely good movie, but it's K-Pax. All these movies.
Ghosts of Mars.
Yeah. But
Gallow Walkers, Willow Walkers.
Well, no.
That's the sequel. It's like a drama.
the ones that I said in genuine thing about it was that they are fucking they're genuinely good movies, but they are one-time watches.
Yes.
I cannot watch Rogue One again. It is exactly what I said it was going to be, and it was exactly what it should have been. But I'll never watch it again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I can see that because
yeah.
it's a spin-off. In my opinion, most spin-offs you shouldn't watch more than once.
It's not even the fact that it's a spin-off. I think it's
It's like a plot hole covering movie.
Yeah.
More so than a spin-off, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I haven't seen it, but from what I saw of it, I would agree with you. I can't see a reason to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I was genuinely concerned, though, when we were talking about the movies with Matt, that he was just going to be like, I'm not doing the show.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
Because we talked about it before we started recording.
Yeah, and he's just like, we're like in the middle of the street, and he looks like he's going to fight me. like we're just going to throw down in the middle of the street. And I'm like...
we need to discuss that. That day, because we talked about this a little bit ago. I need to confront the fact that I said I was going to show up in blackface. I was not lying. I was not lying, but I need to clarify, which I believe I talked about, but it was the fact that the question I was trying to maintain but got away from me was the fact is if you show up in charcoal mask for the reason
Jim's talking about that pore cleansing mask shit, and for some reason he calls it blackface because he thinks it's funny, and
I think it is just because it's a beauty regimen that involves you being racist in a slight bit.
Only if you're looking at...
if you're going out in public with it.
There's 2 types of people.
Yeah.
Okay? There's people who would look at that and go, you're being sort of racist by putting... And then there's people like me that's like, oh, you look like Poe from Dragon Ball Z. Like,
Well, see, that's the whole thing is like...
Who is a racistly designed character, by the way?
I went out in blackface in my sophomore year of high school without realizing it was considered racist.
Yeah, but that was pre 9/11. No, wait, no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
no, then I don't know how you got away with that.
Yeah. And the thing is, no one looked at me with disgust. They looked at me with confusion.
Because no one looked at you with disgust with that. I got looked at with disgust.
No, I wasn't with you.
Drufkey looked at me
Yeah.
when you said, I'm going to show up in blackface. Yeah. He immediately looked at me with this eyebrow thing. Like, what in the fuck have you invited me on, Kyle? And I'm like, I don't know what he does.
It was not to show up in blackface. It was to show up in the fucking thing because I was on this big kick of I really wanted to get the really painful one just because to see what people were bitching about.
Yes.
And I think it would be fun to have me screaming in the background as I peel it off.
Now, I have known you for a long time.
Yes.
So when you say things, I know what you mean. But the way we communicate with other people is based off of the things that we say. And I understand what you're saying. The problem is that you literally said, I'm going to show up in blackface. So to people who haven't known you for over a decade, they just have to take that at face value. Well, blackface value. Okay?
Then why did Rudy look at me so weird for telling him I fell in love with a chair?
Because that's just weird. And Rudy doesn't like you. No, I'm kidding. No. Because because that's a weird thing to say to somebody on your first date. I fell in love with a chair once. I fell in love with a chair once. Should have told Rudy I'm going to show up in blackface. I would have loved to see what Rudy. Matt just looked at me like, I don't know how to approach this.
Well, see, no, me and Rudy, like, I think Rudy would be cool about it because me and Rudy have had discussions about racial humor.
The best part about this whole thing to me is that, like, Matt looked at me like, what the fuck have you gotten me into, and how are you going to diffuse this? Because I don't know what to do. You need to help me. And I'm like, I don't control him. Good fucking luck. Because it's great, too, because then Matt goes on to that thing, and I don't think Matt understood how insidious I am. Mm-hmm. And now I think he gets, like, the insidious nature of my being because I was like, no, say names. No, put your fucking foot in your mouth. Talk about some shit that you know what I mean? He did, and then he's like, I don't know why I did that. I'm like, oh, because I get in there, man.
Are you done talking about your comic?
I am, yeah.
He got me another fucking Archie comic.
No, I did not get you an Archie comic.
Me, like Jughead, but like
different. It's different. Okay,
I would say 90s alternative Jughead.
Venom has his own comics. If it stars Venom, it's a Venom comic, not a Spider-Man comic.
Agent Venom
doesn't fucking matter. That's not the point.
No, we call it. This is better.
I know.
It's a Jughead comic. Essentially, they show in the very beginning, Jughead is a narcissist who, in video games, is a sociopath. He believes that if he does not move, he can go without sleep, and he is convinced that he is fine. But then he faints when he finds out the school has changed their lunch regime. There's a change in regime of Mr. Butterby or whatever it is. Has been forced to retire, and a new guy who looks like a government agent, we call it
evil,
is the new principal. He faints, and he winds up in Jughead Game of Jones.
Oh, shit.
In which case, it's about 4 pages, and Archie dies.
Yeah.
As well as the bully kid.
The bully kid?
Yeah, I forget his fucking name. Hold on. No, they call him the other guy on that page. Princess, what the fuck? Reggie something or another.
Oh yeah, fucking Reggie. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Anyways, and he ends up fucking over the principal because the principal is like, you can't sell these burgers.
So like, who does he fuck in Game of Jones? Who's he with?
No one. He befriends a dragon.
Oh, so he doesn't like get with like Betty, Queen of Dragons, or
no. Shit? Essentially, he is asexual. Not asexual.
Well, yeah, but that's why I asked you who he slept with. It could be anyone.
Because he has a girl.
It could have been the dragon.
No, there's a part in it where there's a chick swooning over him because like he's brought food back to the school instead of gruel. Nutritious gruel, by the way. We call it, and she's swooning over him, and like she hugs him, and he's like, "Get off me!" And he's patting his shoulder.
Get off me, peasant bitch.
Yeah. And this is in the high school. This isn't in his dream.
Yeah, because he's a dick. It's amazing. So I gave you an amazing comic. Is what you're saying? See,
but shit king.
Yeah, but we like Fool Killer.
Yeah,
like that doesn't count because like we both like that one. You would never have bought Jughead, and I introduced you to a good Jughead comic. You're fucking welcome. I also introduced you to this whole universe of Archie shit that was like expounded upon to us by the clerk at the comic book shop.
Yeah.
Who was apparently super into the Archie multiverse.
Yeah, he was excited to talk and explain.
Do your random one, then I'll do mine.
All right, Eternal Soulfire by Aspen Comics.
Aspen.
I got August 2015's 2A. I want to read this. This was genuinely good. We call it like... There's been movies like this kind of deal. Think like the Fifth Element, but there's more than just Milu or whatever her name is. Okay. I think it was Milu, right?
Lilu.
Lilu, yeah.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Yeah. We call it, but yeah, girl is suddenly mutates. She's in a museum and suddenly sprouts butterfly wings. They didn't go into great detail about it, but apparently they also develop powers.
Okay.
And there is a government agency that hunts them.
Is it like Heavy Metal, where the less clothes they have, the more powerful they are?
Well, hold on. They showed the most powerful chick. No, she's about as clothed as the rest, and the chick doing some demonic summoning thing. She's in a robe.
All right.
So yeah. So
Good, tasteful.
no less power.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig the tastefulness.
So I don't know. It genuinely it's got beautiful artwork.
What issue did you get?
2A. I don't know. I don't know why the A, but yeah.
It's probably the A cover. There's probably
That's what I was
covers.
figuring. But yeah, I'm genuinely want to look into this one. This one we call is right up my alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you. I got a comic from Vertigo, which is a DC comic book.
Oh yeah. By the way, I did row 1 of the 50-cent boxes. He did row
4 of the 50-cent boxes. So
Yeah.
and then I got the thing. It's called the Dreaming Rise. This is part 3, issue 59. So I was dumped
Yeah.
into a world that actually isn't as confusing for me as you would think it is, because it takes place in the Hellblazer.
Is it Dark? No, Hellblazer isn't Dark
DC.
Horse.
It's DC.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. It takes place in the Hellblazer universe, which I love. So, like, they're talking about the House of Mystery and Secrets, and it's like the original caretaker of the House of Secrets. And I was like, oh, shit, I actually might have some idea of what's going on. No, they're in the dreamscape. I have... okay, it's a total alternate reality with its own physics and shit. But it's actually really cool. It's super up my alley. Like, the fucking cover is like some weird demonic horse and like some weird demonic warrior riding it. And I was like, oh, I might actually enjoy this. It's weird. It's kind of 2 stories. Apparently, there's some kind of dream war going on, and these people who are called nightmares are called back to the dreamscape by the ultimate god of that plane to defend it against the darkness that's trying to destroy it. There's a lot of weird terms that I'm sure if I had read the other 58 issues, I would know what they're talking about. But it seems that this guy... what is he called? The Corinthian? I think it's the Corinthian. Is brought back with his friends who are the caretakers of the House of Secrets. So the people who know the House of Secrets are going back to it to search for clues, and he is going off to find this evil person named Echo and destroy her. And then he is carted to her by a demonic horse that looks like something out of Ghost Rider. And at the end of the comic, he ends up just killing all of her minions with a knife because he can just fucking do that. It is revealed that she somehow stole his eyes, even though he has eyes.
Was it the jawbone of an ass?
No, it's a weird looking. It looks like you know what a gut hook for a fish is, right? Imagine that, except like a longer knife, and the gut hook isn't plastic; it's metal. That's like what his blade looks like.
What the fuck is that from?
What?
There was some we call it.
But it was good. I'll read it again.
No. There was some like cop show or something I was watching where they had one of those fucking gutting hooks, but they're like the heavy duty ones for like sea fishing. And like that's how they realized who the killer was, because they're like, it has to be this size, and it came part of this set of 3. Blah 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 blah. And of course, the middle one, which was the correct size, was missing. So yeah, I don't know, but like literally, you talked about it, and like I thought about that for some reason. Anyways, moving on to questions. All right, I shouldn't say most. I believe most people are familiar with the belief that I don't want to say it's religious, but a consciousness belief.
I mean, technically, any belief in something like spiritual is religious.
All right,
in some way.
We'll say a spiritual belief. That we are all the one same being, and that when we die, we are essentially pull a name from a lot, and then you live out that life. So, say Kyle's number 275 of 1,000, and I'm 723 of 1,000. If there's 1,000 people on the earth, we call it. We are the same consciousness living the lives through each one of those bodies. Is that good enough?
Yeah. The way that I heard this originally, or this idea originally, was that everybody is the same. Like, you are me, I am you, you are everybody, we are everyone. And what it is that your consciousness is alive at all times in different bodies. Yeah. So that you are pretty much everything on the earth. You are every person, you experience everything, and that's what your soul does.
Yeah, and then
so like your conscious being is me at a different time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to wrap, but that's the way that I always heard it. I did not ever hear of we are actually separate consciousnesses that will all live through the same experiences eventually.
It was that it was like essentially when the life ends, it adds to the one, and then the one hits the reset button when it enters the next one, but it gains it back upon death.
Yeah.
So like as the one grows, the individuals stay the same. They have to start over.
It's kind of the same concept of how in Christianity Jesus is God, who is the Holy Spirit. Like they're all three the same things, but they're different. It's sort of the same.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Sort of.
I forget what. Apparently, there's a meme about this, which upset me.
Well,
Because-
no,
yeah.
it's a meme more about what I was talking about.
Well, essentially, my question was, how close to the end or beginning do you think you are? Based on your qualities.
Well, does the earth grow with me, or does it go back to when I was born?
Well, see, the way I understood it, it was completely random. You could be in the year 2 living the life of a slave girl.
Then there is no
and then,
end.
And then, well, I mean,
Well, but
there is an end.
No, for what? Consciousness?
for the consciousness of this earth.
Remember, even in science, energy can't be destroyed or created or destroyed, which means that if you believe that your energy and your consciousness and you're going back in time and you're going forward in time, because energy can do that.
I'm talking of humankind.
I know. You're talking about of consciousness, though, right? You're talking like human consciousness and being and spirit.
All right, here, put it in a timeline.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is define for me what you believe human consciousness is.
The waking mind.
Okay. How do you believe that relates to the spirit?
I imagine that it's like a download. Once it's done, it downloads.
But it would be through the air, right? It's probably electricity and particles and molecules and energy. Everything is energy.
I'm not looking at like that broad spectrum. I'm looking at it as a finite thing of individual files that once the file is then useless, it joins the server. And then we call it, and then it moves on to the next file.
Yeah, I got what I know what you're saying. What I'm saying is that's all energy, right?
Sure.
Okay. Then there wouldn't be any end to it. There would be an end to you being a human.
But I fuck it.
No, I want to.
But that's not what I'm trying to talk about. I'm talking about, say you have the one living through each individual human existence, each individual human life.
Yes.
Eventually, that timeline ends. The last human being becomes the end.
Okay, so you're only talking about humans.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not talking about extraterrestrial life or potential of.
It would be in. No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like in what I was talking about. You live as everything, so you live as squirrels and fish.
Well, yeah, but that all would end with Earth.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if it's just humans, it would be faster, right?
We'll say just humans.
Well, no, because I'm trying to answer your question, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, well, I would assume that if everybody is swapping consciousnesses, you would stay in a certain, let's just break it down into decades. You would stay into a decade until you lived as everybody in that decade, then you would jump to the next one. Being people who are born starting in that decade. So you'd live, so like I was born in 88, so I'll live from, so then I would be close to being done with the decade of the 80s.
I don't think that, like, in my opinion, that it's a random lot. Let's say we call it the consciousness influences the person. This is just how I'm taking it.
Okay.
We call it the as far along as it is, the consciousness becomes more humble or more such and such. You know, like eventually Hitler I would say Stalin was worse. So I'd say Stalin is like in the last 10% of people. We call it.
Well,
you
if
know,
it's random, it wouldn't matter.
that's what I'm saying, though, is like I could see it going through stages of, we call it, say, like in the beginning, it's trying to improve itself. We call it, so it's there, you know, blah, blah, blah. Then eventually it becomes jaded from having to live all these lives. We call it, as a human being would do, you know, if you're forced to do something.
Well, but you don't remember living the other lives.
I'm
right?
saying the consciousness.
I know, but what I'm saying about that would be, it also depends on what you believe. For me, anyway, I don't believe that time exists where you can go back and forth in it. You would have to go into another universe and go into another timeline completely to go backwards.
Some believe that the individual
I'm
consciousness
aware,
is its own
but
universe.
is that a different pool of files because it's another universe?
I'm just viewing it as that, like, forget other shit. We call other beliefs, so on and so forth. Forget physics of it all. We call it, I'm talking about the one being having to take consciousness from those things and live its life, and then it's absorbed back in, and it learns from those experiences. Okay. We call it, but it's a random process. We call it
I guess if it's random, then you don't have it. You can't answer how close
I'm saying
to the end.
But if that one being influences the influences from the previous, a reincarnation per se, influences the next.
Does it go from the start of life all the way to the end, or is it just popping?
I believe it's.
Or is it like Quantum Leap, where you're popping in and out?
I believe it's a mixture of the two, because I don't think it's the whole idea was that it fucking.
So it doesn't live a complete life, die, and then start a complete life over.
No, it does, but it's at the end of the life it jumps to a random.
Okay, so but it lives from that life as a baby all the way to that life's death.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That's important to me, because if it was just popping in and out, you could probably do it more.
But I say popping in and out as in it just the random one is some place in history.
Yeah, okay,
or future.
So the thing with this is the thing that makes this difficult to answer of how close it would be,
because to our knowledge it's infinity.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, the reason that I was saying if you did it by decade, so I could tell you that if it's 1988, then the being is close to being done with the 80s, because it'll go to the 90s and it'll start the 90s.
See, you're talking chronological
and
order.
I know, but listen, but that's because of what I just said about time, which is that if you're talking about something that could jump back to year 2, then what I believe about time travel, I don't believe time travel is possible. You and I cannot go backwards or forwards in time on our timeline. You would have to go into a different universe and go and join that timeline.
Yeah, we're talking about multiverse theory. Yeah.
Which at that point, my question, this becomes really super complex, and we don't need to get into it. About like, is how many universes compile one
all
area?
Of them.
Well, then there is no end, is there? Because everything, then there's no end to it. You can't end. In fact, you wouldn't be able to finish one life then, because you'd have to experience every incarnation of that life all the way through the infinite amount of universes that life has. So there is no end, right?
All right.
But if you could do it where you could go back to the same, so you had the same starting point. So like my birthday is June 23rd, 1988. So if you live everybody who was ever born on June 23rd, 1988 in order, that's how you could get to the end. And what I would tell you is that, let's say I die in 2052, okay?
See,
I would know that time at least goes to 2052, but if the world ended in 2030, spooky music time if that happens, you heard it here first, but in 2030 or whatever, if the world ended, then you would know how close you were to the end. If you or the being could retain the knowledge of my life or the knowledge of whoever's life they lived first in that year.
See, here's what I'm basing it on.
Of course, it would also be super fucked up to live as everybody in the world dying at the end of the world. That would be kind of weird, right? Like, can you imagine being like, this is actually kind of neat, because like, let's say like a meteor hits the earth and you're like trapped on like a tall building and you're watching this huge tidal wave come in and it's just going to engulf everything. And it's like, in this life, you're this businessman. And then like the next life, you're the woman standing next to him. And you're like, and he's like, this is horrible. We're all going to die. And she's like, all
right,
you're going to die. Like, I know you're going to die. Like,
let's look at it this way. I'm going to put a little bit of a border on it. You have the beginning of time being the first human being. Whatever that may be, the first actual human being. The end of time being the last human being. All right, do we got that?
But the last human being's full life.
Yes, at the beginning of the first
so
human being.
So the last human being to ever be born before the world ends?
It doesn't. That's the end of time. It's the death of the last human.
That's just when it stops.
Yes, we're saying that's our guideline.
Okay.
That's our ruler, per se.
But he has to live that whole life.
Yes.
Okay.
We call it from beginning to end, no matter what the order's mixed up. But here's my thing is, we call it, would you feel that say you're that one being? would you feel that after all that time you would be jaded or a better person at the end?
I would think, define for me jaded.
Evil.
No, I think you would be indifferent.
So a neutral party.
I think after all that death and watching, so if you've lived every life, so you've watched from the beginning of humanity all the way to its end, I think that you would probably come to understand that nothing matters.
See, but that's the whole thing is that, like, I'm not. This is not a guideline I'm setting. I'm saying in my mind, I would view it as you're essentially watching a television show, but you're in the television show.
But the difference being is that,
yeah.
See, this is the other problem. This is the other problem. This is my common.
We are on all hypotheticals.
This is my
so.
common theological argument for a lot of things, which is that if you believe something lives forever, what is 100,000 years, or what's 1,000,000 years to something that doesn't die?
It's moments.
Exactly. So to be honest with you, maybe nothing, right? Like maybe he's like super happy and jolly, and then spends a couple million years as human beings, but he doesn't die. So. It doesn't affect him because there's no concept of time, right? Because time is what makes you jaded and pissed off, right?
Yeah.
Because like when you're like, man, I could have been this if like when you have like a family and people get do that thing where it's like, if I didn't have my family, I could have been a great whatever. You're looking back because you don't have a lot of time and you feel like you squandered the time that you have, right? But if you have unlimited time, honestly, what can change you?
Cyborgs are the future.
Because that was always my problem. Yeah, I know. That was always my problem. I'm totally in that gene pool. But like that was always my problem with Watchmen and Dr. Manhattan was if he knew he couldn't die and he could create worlds and he was God, then to be honest with you, nothing. He shouldn't have been anything. Does that make sense? Like he shouldn't have been good or bad. Because that's kind of my whole deal with God and Allah and everybody is I hate how human beings need to put a temperament on things. It's like, if we know we're going to die, it doesn't matter. It's like these things are infinite. We exist for 60 years. Like, that's not even really long to us. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have a long lifespan in consideration of our own species. And you think that something that's basically timeless gives a shit about your 60 years of existence?
See, I think it's more so we call I don't know. See, like the way I heard it was that it was the original way I heard the idea was that essentially it was an alien species, and for them to learn the life lessons, they had to inhabit the minds from life till death of each individual thing before moving on to adulthood.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. So that means that it's an intelligent, conscious being that is not a god, but is more advanced than us. So I'm going to pose to you two things. One, this goes back into my fucking theory that I just told you about with time, that you'd have to go into another universe to keep going back in time with the same consciousness.
No.
Secondly, I can already know what you go through from life to death if I strapped a camera to you and audio equipment and followed you around all the time. If you can put another being inside of another being to allow them to experience these things, I'm pretty fucking sure you can just save a goddamn file
That's
and
where I was
show
going.
it to people.
That's where I'm going is like, maybe it's the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say. And then you could just download it.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you this. I would be interested to see if it would be better to download all of consciousness all at once, or if you'd have to spread that out.
That's where I'm getting like the spread out because like
this is where we get into my like
maybe
my weird like sadism of I would if I had all of information of human consciousness in it, I would 100% if I could insta download that to somebody, do that because I fucking bet you they'd die. Or their eyes would open, light would be shooting out of it, and they would be God.
Didn't they do that in the new Indiana Jones where the aliens like blew up the guy's head from too much information?
It's possible. I mean, like it's neurological activity, learning, with electric. So the idea is that you just basically get a lightning bolt to your brain.
Well, they did that shit in as well in the Justice League cartoon where Lex Luthor like learns the death code, which is like all of existence is knowledge.
Yeah,
and he's about to implode or some shit.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. But that would be my thing is that if you are an intelligent construct doing this because you're trying to educate a population, not because you're God, there are way more efficient ways to do what you're talking about. So see,
here's my whole thing is like if you break it down into the human emotions, the stereotypical emotions of the first 18 years of a life. Let's say that's what it's doing for the first 18 years. That's its schooling, is that it has to live these lives and experience them to learn how to be a good person.
Yeah, but what's more? What's better? What would be better? You just pick 18 random lives and send this kid in.
I'm saying that like not like it's say I'm saying in a ratio, like say 18 years of our lives is 25 gazillion years of its life.
Okay,
but we call it, but its life is that much farther.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying to you is what is better, to just send them to 18 gazillion whatever of their lives, or to pick specific ones that you feel give them the broadest experience of a human?
I think it would be better for the most, because you get to experience not only being the murderer, the guy who like
but you can do
savagely.
But that's what I'm saying is, wouldn't you eventually go through your pool of files? Because you said files, so I'm equating to files.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you eventually go through your pool of files and go, okay, here's a good case. Here's a guy who had a tough life, overcame a lot of things, only to be murdered by this guy. And this murderer actually came from an affluent family, had everything handed to him, got hooked on drugs, became desperate, and murdered this guy. It'd be good to see those 2 points of view. So you put those two in there. And it's like, this is kind of a normal life. Nothing really happens. This is the same type of life, but has more adversity. Don't you think you'd start to pick?
Now, this is the life of the girl that you murdered in life.
No, but you could do that. Don't you think that there would be some kind of system, though, to it?
See, that's
like, okay, like just for example, like even taking out anything extraordinary like that, like, don't you think instead of it being random, you would want people to be grouped into groups of people? So like, I would be you and you would be me, and then we would switch, and then I would be Sam and you would be your mom. Don't you want to try to keep it where you'd be seeing from the opposite side all of a sudden of things that you had just gone through? Don't you think you'd rather do that?
See, but I still like the idea of life till death.
No, you could do that. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't it be better to group them?
But to group them, possibly, but where does the group end? Because if we go back...
It doesn't, but it expands out on each
That's what I'm saying, is because if we go back 7 generations, it's supposed to be that we're all related.
See, that's the ultimate question, is what do you start with? Who do you start with?
Yeah.
Who's the first human that you put him into?
Hitler.
I mean, that's a point, right?
Well, no, that was my question. That's where I was coming with, like, you break it down.
I was going to say Abraham Lincoln, just to prove that all men are not truly free or equal.
But that's where my shit was going to come, is you break it into the first 18 years of a human life. We call it as its ratio of life or whatever, or comparatively. We call it where you have the terrible twos. You have Hitler, you have Stalin, you have so-and-so. You have, we call it the fucking angsty teenage years. You throw fucking, we call it Einstein, so on and so forth. You know, people who like, you know, they're doing bad things, but they think they're doing it just to be individuals. You know, like
doing it because my art.
Yeah, we call it
doing it just to be individual. This heroin makes me mean.
I don't know. I mean,
actually, you know what? I think that I would start them with somebody who dies like as a toddler. Like somebody who's born with cancer dies at like 2.
Einstein's brother that died in the soap bucket.
Okay, yes. Soap bucket Einstein.
No, you heard about that, right?
But for real though, for real, because like the first lesson you learn is that life is precious no matter how short it is.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't like the training, you only spent a couple years in this kid, and then you can figure out how to.
But those
I am going to hell for that last part.
I think it was.
That's what dying babies are. That's training wheels for this alien species. Like, did you like it? Are you okay? You have a headache? No, we need to adjust a couple things. I will send you back. Now this baby's gonna die too, but we're gonna when you come back, you're gonna have to tell us: is that a little better? Is it 2? It's kind of like them doing the eye thing. Like, what's better, 1 or 2? Okay, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Just come back. 2. Okay, we're sending you into another baby.
All right, so for those of you who are religious, this conversation means nothing. And for those of you who aren't, this conversation means fucking nothing.
Because everything we do in the illogical universe means absolute bullshit nothing.
Yeah. We call it...
we're an hour and 15 in.
Okay.
No, go.
Yeah.
I was just telling you the time because your head hurt.
Oh, no, the aspirin finally kicked in. So I'm
right.
good. But yeah, that was bad. One of the worst headaches I've had in years. We call it, and there's been times where I woke up in the hospital. So, yeah, after not being in the hospital before. So just to clarify.
Just to clarify, I bet it was.
We call it. So yeah, I don't know if we actually fucking said anything about that one. If we answered any questions or not, but I'll accept it.
I would say that I would think that I would not be near the end.
Yeah. You know, we haven't done this for a while. We call it, do we have any new comics to recommend?
The only one that I really think I would love people to go look for Ali Sadiq. Ali Sadiq. I don't think he's new, but I don't know if a lot of people know him, and he's fucking hilarious.
Okay. We call it B movie. We call it. I watched it today. It was an action movie. It was something about going in and get somebody. Extraction, but not
something about going in and getting somebody.
Not the Bruce Willis one from 2015. The one from 2013.
Not a good movie.
Yeah, it's on Crackle for free. So yeah, you don't have to spend anything to do it. But I mean, it's got Vinnie Jones, so I'm biased.
Oh, I would recommend on Netflix watching Lucha Underground.
Yeah, you would.
I fucking love lucha wrestling. It's amazing. You should watch it.
The one I want to watch, it's a bunch of mockumentaries.
Is it about lucha?
But it's got Bill Hader and fucking that one guy from Portlandia.
You were telling me about this.
Yeah, I never learned his name, but the only thing is I want to watch it with someone. For some reason, I don't want to watch that one alone.
I have time next week. Actually, yeah.
You're going to watch a season of mockumentaries with me?
If you'll watch lucha wrestling with me.
And I think Meryl Streep was in it, too.
We'll make a day of it. I'll come over. You'll come over here.
No,
we'll
the one we have to do that we've been planning for a while is we got to watch all the weird fucking movies.
We can do those. We can do those, too. I have a week.
We have to do a day of import movies.
I know,
you realize,
that's fine.
Right?
I have a week. You're going to come over. You'll just spend like 3 days over here, and we'll watch import movies the first day. We'll watch your season thing of that, and then we'll watch lucha wrestling.
Oh yeah, and we call it. You still need to watch Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, I know. I do.
Yeah,
I still don't have.
For those of you who have watched it, bang.
I don't think that.
God, that is fucking great.
I don't think it's going to be as good as the old ones, but I think it's going to be funny as hell. That's what I think.
That's just it. Is the only thing like
I'm actually disappointed they didn't ask us to do it.
I partially watched. Apparently, it's got one of the guys from the Nerdist. I think.
Oh yeah, the Nerdist.
We call it one of the 3 founding guys or some crap. I think it was the Nerdist. The guy that does the Talking Dead show.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, they talk.
What is the Talking Dead?
They talk about The Walking Dead.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you.
Recommendation for comics, same thing as last week. Fool Killer.
For comic books, yeah. Fool Killer is a good one. Let's see, what am I into? I'm telling you,
you picked up a bunch of new ones last week, so
yeah, I didn't get really a chance to read them. I mean, actually, Curse Words is good.
What was the one I started?
Curse Words is good. If you guys ever, if you see Curse Words, it's an independent one. I think it's Dark Horse. So, I would go over and do that. I would also always recommend Baltimore if nobody's read it. That's like a gothic horror action.
I read that one because of you. Yeah,
I love Baltimore. It's good.
Yeah.
Which one did you read? Where did you start?
I couldn't tell you. It's been. You told me about it in I think middle school or some crap.
Yeah, you should read it again. You should go back. I'll let you borrow them.
Yeah. So it's been quite some time.
Because we want to make a short movie about it.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean I need Jim to be in it.
Oh yeah, that's the one we were talking about. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna be punched in the face for real.
I'm gonna burn his ear.
Yeah.
I have a lot of this written, but anyway.
Well, we can do that. We can actually have you shove a rod through my ear and shit. So,
yeah.
Since I have the holes,
it's gonna be good.
Yeah. We call it. I don't know. Is there anything else we should recommend? Food. There are quesadillas at a Mexican. It's Los Burritos Mexicanos on 64 and Randall.
I haven't been anywhere new. Chili's is pretty good. I mean,
no, seriously about that Mexican place though, man. That fucking Spanish rice, dude. Holy fuck! That the taste of it stuck with me for a couple of hours.
Real quick, have you noticed a steep decline in Jimmy John's quality?
I had one 2 days ago, and no,
really, because there's a Jimmy John's in my school, in the building, and it's not a good Jimmy John's then. It's just it seems really, really not good. And the funny thing is that we went down there the other day and they were like, "Yeah, we're out of bread." I'm like, how the fuck are you out of bread? That's like the one thing you need to make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like that, like without bread, it's not a sandwich.
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah, well, we're out of it. I'm like, you guys fucking suck. And then we went back down like 30 minutes later. I was like, oh, yeah, we have more bread. I'm like, did you just find it? Like, what happened?
Well, see, I mean, like the one I went to, it's funny. Like, I went to the one in downtown Aurora where they built that fucking building just to get rid of the homeless. You know what I'm talking about? Those condos.
Yeah.
It's funny is like you go to other parts of downtown Aurora, you'll see buildings where it's all empty except for like one store, especially on Lincoln. We call it like Lincoln looks fucking awesome. When was the last time like where Durango's is?
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, it looks better than the rest, but there's nothing there. We call it. That's what we call it. The condos look like. It's a brand new building. Jimmy John's is the only thing in there.
Yeah, it's because nobody wants to be in downtown Aurora.
Well, no, it's also really expensive for that building.
As much as they build it up, like there's nothing there other than the casino.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
No.
Well, that and the Roundhouse, which on Thursdays has Still Not Friday comedy that's hosted by Matt Drufke, the guy who looked like he was going to beat me up outside of the studio for liking certain movies.
And for some reason didn't like me for using the word blackface.
Yep, that's Matt Drufke. He produces and hosts Still Not Friday comedy, probably the best collection of comics that you'll see week in and week out in the Chicago
in the
suburbs.
Aurora area.
Yeah, they've got a lot of really good talent. And my buddy Rudy, who's been on here.
Oh, that's
him
right,
and Xavier
right.
Lamont, who needs to come on this fucking show, also started Two Suits Comedy. I will post more information about that because I cannot remember where they're playing out of off the top of my head. But I will post that on our Facebook.
Post it. I can look it up.
No, it's all right. I'll post it on the
But
Facebook.
you need
I'll
to
link
talk
to. I'll link
about-
to it because they have a page as well.
You need to talk about your betrayal or hidden betrayal of the logical universe to go with them to do their
Oh yeah,
thing.
so Rudy is starting his own podcast that I will be a co-host on because
he had fun on ours.
Because I'm better-
He thinks it's going to be like this.
yeah, but
It'll be nothing like this.
But the difference is that he has like a specific thing that he wants to talk about, and it's gonna be funny. And I'm just happy I don't have to like he's got to produce. all of it.
Xavier Lamont is one of the funniest people that I've ever fucking.
I don't
met.
think he's on it. He's not on it.
He was talking about it was going to be the two.
It's me and another comic whom I don't know, but she's on it, and then Rudy.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, Xavier. I don't know. Xavier's too busy or something.
I don't know what he does besides.
I don't think
comedy.
we're getting Xavier on the show until like we become big. Then he's going to want to be on it, and I'm going to fucking deny him.
Yeah, if that is the case, I love him. He's I don't actually know the man, but he is fucking hilarious, and I love him as a comedian.
Yeah, if you get a chance to see Xavier Lamont or XL on a poster, please go see him. He's funny.
We call it, but the fact is, we don't exist in his world.
I'm trying to get Cody Melcher on the show. He said he would come on. So actually, next episode, you guys
Maybe
will
we'll
hear he
just-
might be on it.
Maybe we'll just go to him because he lives in the city, doesn't he?
He lives somewhere. Yeah, he's close.
He's somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, I do this on a laptop, so why
yeah.
not?
Yeah.
But anyway, so if you guys want to connect with us, you can do so on Facebook at facebook.com/illogicaluniverse or on Twitter at illogicaluni. If you guys want to donate money to us because we're so poor and we need shoes and corn
And I'm dead serious about that. If you live in the area and you can lend us a camera,
yeah, you can go to patreon.com/illogicaluniverse, throw us $1, throw us some bones, or let us know in a comment either on Facebook, Twitter, or Patreon that you could lend us a camcorder so we can do some things. We won't break it. I'll be nice to it. I won't let Jim sexually assault
Trust
it.
me, we can't break it. We really need it. I really want to do this thing.
Yeah. So you can also leave us a comment on our brand new home on Spreaker.com/illogicaluniverse, where you can find all of our episodes for free. You can download them. You can stream them, share them. It'll link you to our iTunes page. It's amazing. You can talk to us. Or go to Twitter and Facebook. It's so much better. Motherfuckers, it's so much better. I love it. So that's where our new home is. And I don't know how to close this out, Jim. Help me. Help me.
Hold
please.
on, I'm looking for a good
Oh, help
line
me.
to read.
You can't read.
I don't care. I want to finish.
Just
reading.
hurry the fuck up and find a line. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
dear God! Hold
Look
on.
up Mr. Shit or whatever. The
I'll
fucking
tell you.
character was
I'll
called.
tell you the exact words of his backstory.
Okay, tell me the exact word starting now.
Okay. So we've all come to.